y'all? What's up, y'all? We here. I'm just adding a few moderators. Just y'all when next time they type. Just adding a few moderators. We're gonna get started like in 1 minute. We're gonna get started like in 1 minute. I gotta airdrop myself something. We're gonna get started as soon as I airdrop myself this video. Let's go. What's up, y'all? Let me change up my let me see here. We're gonna kick with this groove today. We're gonna kick with this groove. We're gonna keep with this groove. What's up, y'all? Welcome. Thank y'all for joining. I gotta have this discussion today, and I will address the chat room in a second. But I gotta start this off by saying, look, I just had a show in front of my garage this past Friday night where I was talking about how y'all be getting LA all wrong. And I was telling y'all, I just literally did a live a few nights ago talking about, from my experience, how people get this city wrong all the time. And the thing that's annoying is people are always talking on LA, but they be at the same time living here or being out here a whole lot. And like Kendrick said, if you don't come south of the 10, don't talk on it. Because what you're doing is you're talking on south of the 10 politics without ever spending any south of the 10 time in the city. And like clockwork, here comes a New Yorker, dead wrong about LA. I mean, dead wrong. So I want to talk about this, but I want to start off by saying this is with respect to Lord Jamar, because I got nothing but love for him. But like any human on earth, like anybody on earth, we can say things that other people we generally like fucks with. And I don't know Lord Jamar personally, but I have enjoyed his interviews over the last 8 years, here on YouTube. That, going back to the Vlad, now Art of Dialogue, and watching his show, the M.A.A.D podcast, and with him, I was one of the early subscribers with him, Rod Digger, and then it was them two. Then Godfrey came later. I even remember the order in which motherfuckers came. I fucks with Godfrey. I fucks with Godfrey. I'm not Godfrey. I fucks with Godfrey too, but with Lord Jamar. No issues with him. I think that he has a lot of good things to say. I don't, so I'm not, this isn't no pile on Lord Jamar type of show. Not doing that. Not doing it. But we will speak on what he said about LA, because what he said about LA is very interesting, and what we like and what we gravitate to. So what I'm going to first do is, this was on the M.A.A.D podcast. See, do I have it up? Yeah. So you see here, is on his own podcast, and I encourage you to subscribe. Now this is the guy. This is the guy pod. M.A.A.D is the other one with. I'm sure that's one with Rod Digger and Godfrey. This was on the guy pod. With Lord Jamar, and I like this podcast. I was actually watching this live yesterday. I was watching it live, and then I had some shindigging to do, so I clicked off of it, and then I saw this tweet on a Joe Budden that first I saw it from Glasses Malone, and then it went to that clip. So I was like, hold on, I must have missed that part. So I went back and watched the rest of the podcast, and then this is the part where they're talking about what he had to say. So what I'm going to do is I don't want any copyright strikes, fair use and everything, but I'm going to respect that man's podcast, and I'm going to just put something over the top of it. Here we go. And then we're going to play what he said. And then on the other side, I'm going to play it all the way through. And then on the other side, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to play it all the way through, and then we're going to play it back, and I'll break it down line by line and tell you where I disagree with respect to Lord Jamar. Let's go.
Thank you for that information. C Warrior said, Lord Jamar, who do you think did more for LA music, The Game or Kendrick Lamar?
Okay, so the question was from a super chat, just in case you didn't hear. The person asked, who do you think did more for LA music, The Game or Kendrick Lamar? Who do you think did more for the music? And who do you like more? Who you like more? I don't get into likes and dislikes. Everybody got their own opinion on who they like and dislike. I ain't here for that. But I will get into the whole LA music side, because LA music is a vast pot of music that expands beyond the scope of hip hop. But let's listen to what he has to say, then we'll break it all down.
Whose music do you like more? That's a pretty good question, C Warrior. And I see you're not from over here. You're asking this from overseas.
Isn't this like comparing two era basketball superstars, man?
In a way, yeah, because they're not necessarily from the same era. Let me answer the second question first. Whose music do I like more? The Game's. The Game.
Definitely. So the person's music he likes more is The Game. That's fine.
Okay.
The Game.
But it is telling, because The Game and Kendrick are completely different artists. If what you gravitate towards is The Game, that's going to give you some of an insight to where a person's consciousness is on a particular thing.
Game could rap his ass off, and I feel like his shit is just more, it's just harder. It's just, you know what I mean? It just appeals to me more. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
plus he's got Dre, man.
Did more for LA music. I mean, I'm not even fully sure what you mean by that. Like, did more how? Like, made it more popular? You know what I mean? Like, obviously Kendrick is selling more records and all of that type of shit. Like, he's the more commercially successful artist between the two.
Also, when you think of LA music, Game is more associated, I feel like, with the LA scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say Game is more culturally.
This part.
Yeah.
Listen to this part.
The Game identifies.
I feel like The Game is more LA. And actually, if you put in all the years that he's been out and all this type of shit, now that I think about it, yeah, he probably did do more for LA music than Kendrick. Kendrick is just popular right now. You know what I mean? He's just popular right now. Yeah. So thank you for that question.
So the part that I wanted to focus on was where he said The Game is more culturally LA. Somebody said they are correct. Before I get started, this person says they are correct. What are they correct about? The Game being more culturally LA? Is that what they're more correct about? Let me go back and let me take my time with this.
Thank you for that information.
I'm gonna go back and play and break it down piece by piece.
I'm not even fully sure what you mean by that. Like, thank you for that question. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the game. The game. Definitely. Kendrick is selling more records and all of that type of shit. Like he's the more commercially the game could rap his ass off.
Here we go. I'm gonna start here.
And I feel like his shit is just
somebody look this person. Look, chat room, look. This person said I'm reaching and I haven't even spoken yet. Chat room. Have I said anything yet? Somebody in the chat room said I'm reaching, and I'm still trying to figure out which point of view I'm gonna address first. And I already got somebody said I'm reaching. You must be from New York. All right, let's keep going. Because I'm gonna break this down piece by piece.
It's just harder. It's just, you know what I mean? It just appeals to me more. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
plus it's got Dre, man.
Did more for LA music. I mean, I'm not even fully sure what you mean by that. Like, did more how? Like, made it more popular? You know what I mean? Like, obviously Kendrick is selling more records and all of that type of shit. Like, he's the more commercially successful artist.
So the part of heat they're on right now is the game saying, and look at this. I got somebody in the chat room telling me what I'm drawing a comparison, and I haven't even said in my point of view yet. Hey, Felix Speaks, sit down. All right, just sit down. All right, listen. I already know you ain't even trying to listen. You over here. This nigga done told me my point of view before I laid my point of view out. Y'all see the struggle with being someone who speaks? People will speak for you before you even said a word. So first, I want to address the point of Kendrick, the game being more important to LA music than Kendrick. And if you look, you see Lord Jamar went right to a more impact in music without even understanding the music that goes behind these artists. The game worked with Dr. Dre, just like Kendrick. But musically, sonically, Kendrick literally just did an album with all LA artists. He just did an album with all LA artists, straight up LA. LA production, through and through. Let's go back before this album. Because Lord Jamar is trying to make it seem as if Kendrick just started getting popular this year. Kendrick's breakout hit album, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City, came out in 2012. Kendrick works with not only LA artists, hip hop artists, but he works with artists across the gamut. See, one thing he getting wrong right here is most of LA don't bang, right? And the LA music scene is much deeper than hip hop. But at the same time, the LA hip hop scene works with the extended LA music family scene. Let me say that again. Hip hop is a subgenre, is a part of the LA music scene, the black LA music scene. But so is rhythm and blues. R&B is still very much interwoven within the fabric of LA music. That's why we have Alex Isley out there singing. That's why artists like SZA come out here to sing. That's why people like Robert Glasper move from Houston to LA to be a part of this scene here when it comes to rhythm and blues. And the R&B scene was really started in Los Angeles and it never left. You can read this book, Rhythm and Blues, The Death of Rhythm and Blues by Byron Nelson for more details. But in this book, it talks about how rhythm and blues never would have gotten established as a genre of music if it were not for LA in the 1940s. LA was the first city that invested money into the sound known as rhythm and blues. And then from there, Chicago, Philadelphia. But LA has always been a home of rhythm and blues. When Motown moved out here, they used LA musicians. Quincy Jones, his cupboard of musicians in Dougal Chancellor, Jordan High School. Patrice Rushen, Jordan High School. Locke High School. Gerald Albright. Patty Austin, South Central LA. The Whispers. Rolls Royce. A lot of your rhythm and blues, this is a rhythm and blues city. So when it comes to hip hop in LA is very rhythm and blues based. That's why Death Row Records kept live musicians around. If you go to my Patreon, I have interviews with Val Young. Val Young was one of the Mary Jane singers. She sang with Rick James, Parliament, the Gap Band. She was basically a house musician for Death Row Records. That was her singing To Live and Die in LA. And I heard you on a different interview, Lord Jamar, saying you didn't really like that song, whatever. I get it. But that's why Steve Arrington from Ohio talked about how LA revitalized his career in the 90s. Roger Troutman, before he died, LA gave him his last hit with California Love. LA is a very rhythm and blues based city. So you cannot judge LA just based off hip hop. You can't. Let me tell you how R&B LA is. When Snoop went on tour in the early 2000s, when he went on tour in the early 2000s, Snoop took these young musicians with him. Not all the guys in this, but this group came out of that. The West Coast Get Down. Let me teach you something about LA music, brother Lord Jamar. This with love. The hottest cats in jazz right now are these brothers. Kamasi Washington in the middle, Hamilton High, Ronald Bruner over there on the left, Brandon Coleman. Kamasi here in the middle, Snoop in the early 2000s on the Up and Smoke tour took Kamasi on the road with him. Some of these guys. Terrace Martin, these jazz musicians. And this all circles back to Kendrick. Terrace Martin got put on and really exposed through Death Row Records, through Snoop. Aftermath. When you're talking the studio musicians that played a lot with Nip, Terrace Martin right here gave Kendrick his first demo beat. When he went to go try out for his deal, Terrace Martin was the one that gave Kendrick his demo beat, a jazz musician. Terrace Martin has dropped some dope music over the last few years. Dope over his whole life, really. You got Terrace Martin. You got, and let me tell you something. All of these cats grew up in the same South Central LA as your rappers. In the same hoods, on the same streets. You have Thundercat. This guy is, when it comes to the alternative rock fusion, Thundercat is running that right now. The alternative, he's selling out theaters nationwide, worldwide. But this is also the guy who produced If These Walls Can Talk by Kendrick Lamar. Thundercat. This is the eclectic mix of the LA sound. You got Flying Lotus. Flying Lotus. Running things in the EDM world right now. He also produced on Kendrick's albums. You got my man J.Mo, Jarris Mosey. You'll see him on my next installment of my documentary. This guy wrote Give You the Best of Me by Anthony Hamilton, but he also wrote some of the coldest guitar licks on Kendrick Lamar's music. He went to Long Beach Poly, the same high school as Snoop Dogg. These are current artists. And there are more. You got Anderson .Paak. You got the Free Nationals, T Nava. The LA music scene is very, very eclectic. And when you talk about the LA music scene, Thundercat is outselling all these rappers when he does his shows around the country, when he goes on tour. He outselling all of them except Kendrick. See, this is one thing black people got to realize. Our music is bigger than fucking hip hop. Hip hop is a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre that niggas whose minds are boxed in musically only listen to. One thing about LA keeps a very diverse palette of music and musicians. And all these cats that I mean are very essential to the LA scene. These guys produced on G&X. They produced on Damn, on Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. J.Mo won Grammys with Anderson .Paak. Jasmine Sullivan, nigga. This is L.A. We ain't on just fucking rap, nigga. We bigger than that. This is the hood, too. This is what J.Mo is doing right now. This is what J.Mo on right now. If you go on Spotify, I'm the producer on his Live in Long Beach version. But J.Mo he's on some rock shit right now. Look what J.Mo's on right now. These are LA musicians. This is what we on right now in LA, y'all. The music, that's the same guy. Prince used to pick J.Mo up from high school in a limo to go rock in Hollywood. Do y'all know that? That same J.Mo playing the guitar? Prince used to pick him up after school from Long Beach Poly, the same high school Snoop Dogg went to, Nate Dogg, Warren G. Same high school. This is the LA music scene. And these are the musicians that are programming some of the best hip hop that you've heard while still maintaining their own sound. LA is a very diverse scene. Then when it comes to rap, we got people like Earl Sweatshirt. Everything is not. Gangster's always been a segment of LA hip hop. But like you said, Lord Jamar, your favorite rapper was The Game. So that's the segment that y'all niggas gravitated to. When we had NWA, we also had the Far Side. People like to forget about that. We gave you guys the Far Side too. Ice Cube wasn't gangster. Ice Cube was message music. And when it came to the battle between gangster rap and message music, Ice Cube won when he dropped No Vaseline. That killed them gangsters. That killed off NWA. Them niggas had to break up. The streets of LA chose Ice Cube's message music over NWA's gangster rap. Never forget that. So when you speak on LA correctly in the culture of LA. Because the way we see it out here, yeah, those are different. We all grew up together. I played the drums with Kamasi in church. Like his uncle played in my church. I only played with him he only came like once or twice. I'm not gonna act like I played with the nigga regularly. But his uncle Don played in my church. So we all grew up. I remember going down to Lamert Park seeing this young rapper drummer named Breezy Lovejoy. And Breezy Lovejoy turned out to be Anderson .Paak. Steve Lacy. Do y'all know the dude that Drake called out Steve Lacy? Steve Lacy is LA. You got Drake calling him out or whatever. Do you know who taught Steve Lacy how to play the guitar initially? This is Steve Lacy. Y'all know who taught him how to play the guitar? J.Mo. Do you know where? Let me give you some LA story to show you how real I am in this game. Do you know where Steve Lacy met J.Mo? Steve Lacy met J.Mo right here. Oh, I gotta take that screen down. Steve Lacy met J.Mo right here. Church that I used to play the drums at. This wasn't my main church, but this was one of the churches my church used to organize with. And so I used to play the drums at this church about twice a year. I used to play the drums at this church. And this is all going to be in my documentary because I didn't even know J.Mo played there at that time. But this is where I would play here twice a year, 3 times a year usually. And I remember this little kid that would sometimes play when I would be there. And I'm like, who that kid? I was in my 20s. I didn't know. I find out just a couple months ago that kid was Steve Lacy. And he met my man J.Mo playing there. And J.Mo taught him how to play the guitar. That's how interconnected the LA music scene is, y'all. Nipsey. This ain't gonna be a short show, so I'm gonna need y'all to strap in and be patient. This might be one of my longer shows because I gotta make sure I'm thorough, right, exact, and correct with what I'm saying. You dig? So let's look at here. You're looking at South Central LA. Zoe's way out there. Let's go back to South Central. My church was over here. My church was in the hood. It was up here off Adams. It's not there anymore. My church isn't there anymore. But it used to be here. Anyway, let's go back to Nipsey, where Nipsey was from. This is how interconnected the LA music scene is. Nipsey will be right here on Crenshaw and Slauson. This is Nipsey Corner right here. They call it Nipsey Square now. This is where Nipsey was hanging out. This the Marathon shop y'all see in the back over there. This the Marathon shop. They done knocked down Hungry Harold's and about to put in some other bullshit here. And I know they about to knock down. Gentrification is about to knock down Slauson. Oh shit! What the fuck just happened? What just happened? Oh, here we go. Gentrification is about to knock down Hungry Harold's and Slauson Donuts. But many of motherfuckers I know done got shot at in front of this motherfucker right here. Anyway, Nipsey will be right here. Marathon store. This is where you be selling the CDs. Do you know who was right down the street? You know who was right down the street? Let's go that's 57th Street. Let's go down here to 43rd and Degnan. You know what's going on here? You know what was going on here? Terrace Martin, Kamasi Washington, Anderson Paak. They were this place right here. This is called a shop, but this used to be a theater. This used to be like a little music. This used to be a little not theater, a little shop where they played music. And all those jazz musicians you saw, this whole West Coast get down, all of these guys right here will be in here. That's where these guys met. Tony Austin on drums, Cameron Graves, Brandon Coleman, Ryan Porter over here on trombone. Man, they all met here at the World Stage Theater. And you can come here. If you listen to Anderson Paak, he talks about it on the Oxnard album. When he says something about those summertime nights in M.A.A.D, this is what he was talking about. Terrace Martin, a lot of your top jazz guys were jamming. Mind you, this is where the 43rd Street is. They was jamming here, making the beats, while Nipsey was hustling right over here. You see how close that is? From my cursor right here, where it says Hyde Park, from right here to right here. That's the distance between Nipsey Square and Jazz Central. And mind you, this is 43rd Street. The 43, the 40s and the 60s, although they're both Crip sets, they do not get along. In this short distance, you have extreme rivalries within gangs. And I'm over here, this is where I'm raised. I'm over here in BPS hood. And BPS Black P Stones, T. Rogers, they don't get along with either one of these niggas. And then you move up here to View Park, you ain't got to worry in the motherfucking world. Because this is an all-black neighborhood, was an all-black neighborhood. And you could go right up the hill from Crenshaw and have a view like this. This is my neighborhood where I moved to after I got to high school, View Park. You get a view of the city like this. Right up the hill from Madness. I remember coming down here, hearing the shooting as a kid. I remember hearing a shooting right here. Drove past it. This is where the liquor bank used to be. Crenshaw and Stocker, the infamous Crenshaw and Stocker. I remember driving right past here when the liquor bank was over here, hearing the gunshot. And then my homeboy Nate, he was shot up in the Suburban. Thank God I didn't see his body. Rest in peace. Why am I saying that? Because one thing that Lord Jamar is getting wrong is he's talking about the temperature of LA. Saying LA is gangster. LA ain't. Let me tell y'all something. It's like anything else. You got some gangsters and you got a lot of people who ain't banging. You got people out there who know the gangsters, but they also know themselves and know how to not just know themselves. They know that their daddy or your mama will fuck them up if they join the gang. So they don't bang. It's a lot of. So when you talk about LA, LA being gangster, no, LA is this whole hip hop thing and got y'all heads fucked up. I swear to God. First, in the first area, it got y'all heads fucked up. It got you thinking hip hop is the only music black people do. When fact of the matter is, we created it all. That's why I created this music tree, to remind us of who the fuck we are. I think we as black people forget who the fuck we are. When you look at the total breadth of what we done, hip-hop is this small little piece up here at the top. Nigga, all the funk, electronic, hard rock, classic rock, acid rock, dance, disco, R&B, underground, house, techno, jazz, blues, soul, bluegrass. That's all our shit. And I refuse to let you niggas box us into just hip hop. Fuck that. You want to judge a whole goddamn city and society by one form of music. What? And now I just got to hear, well, they created gangster rap. We also created message music too. Did you listen? See, it's time for other parts of the country to take responsibility from the messages that we sent out from this city. We're a diverse city. Do we got gangsters? Hell yeah. LA has a major gangster problem, starting with the LAPD. All the other gangs or organizations are just a reaction. The white gangs, the Nazis, the Latino gangs, the Asian gangs, everybody got gangs in LA. Everybody. But why the fuck is black people the only ones associated with it? That's my issue. The LAPD got all them goddamn gangs. Y'all don't associate the police with gangs. I was trying to show y'all something. Before I show y'all something, I need you to go to intellectualpower.net. Intellectualpower.net. Get some of these right here to get your mind sharp. The message is pinned. Mods, I'm going to need y'all to repost this in the chat at least every 10 minutes or so. Please, mods. It's pinned at the top. Go to intellectualpower.net. Telling y'all right now, this keeps your mind sharp. All right? Please, right now, go to intellectualpower.net. All right? So back to what we're talking about. Let's go even further. Everybody don't bang. See, the thing is, we get associated with an environment. In LA, we live in a very segregated city. So us regular folks got to deal with the insanity. Okay? Let me show you how LA is when it comes to music. I'm going to go through my Facebook timeline. This is me and the wife at a Kamasi concert. This was a Smoking Grooves festival that they did a few years ago. Erykah Badu came. This was straight up R&B. The co-headliners was Erykah Badu and Kamasi Washington. And they sold over 100,000 tickets. This is Kamasi here. This is LA music. These are all LA musicians on the stage, by the way. This is LA. For those of you who don't know. Kamasi Washington and Thundercat. Look at this. The Hollywood Bowl seats 18,000 people. This is how you cannot name one rapper other than Kendrick Lamar that's going to sell out the Hollywood Bowl, 18,000 seats. This is the LA music scene. Look at this. Look how many people are here. This is LA. This is LA. black musicians scene is much bigger than hip hop, homeboy. This when Carlos Santana came. Carlos Santana, Marcus Miller on stage with Kamasi. This is the LA scene. This is LA. This is LA. We not all gangsters, brother. This is LA, Anderson .Paak. This was like 2 months ago. Hot don't stand the chance. Yeah. See, the LA music scene is much more diverse than gangster rap, my homeboy. This was Anderson .Paak a few years ago at the Forum. See that? This the Forum, 18,000 seats. I'm just showing y'all better than I can tell y'all that when I hear all these stereotypes about gangster this, gangster that, no. No, 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 no. No. Got a super chat, Wally next door. If the question is who's gangster or is more respected out of league side towards Kendrick, that niggas forget the game used to strip it and got knocked out the Fox Hills Mall. That's right, Wally. Yeah, it's something like LA dudes. We know. I don't get into street politics, but people know out here. They know behind the veil when it comes to that dude. Maybe you East Coast niggas are under illusions, but we're not impressed by that shit. By that street activity. We're not. We're not. It doesn't impress us. I'm tired of these goddamn stereotypes. We're going to put an end into that shit today. So let's go further in what he said. I ain't done. Let's go further in what was said and let's debunk that too. Okay? Because there was a lot of way off kilter things said about LA that I do not appreciate. So let's go further.
Between the two.
Also, when you think of LA music, Game is more associated, I feel like, with the LA scene.
Yeah, I was gonna say Game is more culturally. Yeah.
The Game identifies.
I feel like the Game is more LA. And actually, if you put in all the years that he's been out and all this type of shit, now that I think about it, yeah, he probably did do more for LA music.
So as we see, I've already debunked who's done more for LA music now. Kendrick is actually uniting the different genres. Not only the whole Kendrick is uniting the hood. That's good for you niggas that are into hood and gang shit. I'm in my 40s. I ain't into no gang nothing. That's an interesting story to y'all. The interesting story to me as a musician is he's uniting the genres. Flying Lotus out of LA, EDM. Terrace Martin out of LA, jazz and R&B. Kamasi Washington, jazz and R&B out of LA. J-Mo, rock and R&B. We got artists like D Smoke in LA. D Smoke ain't on that gangster shit. And D Smoke's and we got D Smoke's brothers, Sir's R&B. That's LA. We got Tyler the Creator in LA. You know, Kendrick's uniting Thundercat. Thundercat is alternative rock fusion. R&B. Thundercat's a rocking out ass nigga on that bass. Redefining how the bass is played around the world. So what do you mean who's done? Who else is uniting all of that talent across the genres? Not only uniting hoods, but uniting the different genres of black expression. And these are all our music. So I will not ever allow anybody to come in and downplay jazz and some other stuff as any less relevant to black culture than hip hop. I'll never allow anybody to do that. Or rock fusion. You'll never disassociate rock fusion from black and black culture because it all comes from us. So if you associate West Coast music and West Coast rap with gangster rap, that means you got to take responsibility for what you gravitate to. Like for me, I know drill comes out of Chicago, but I don't gravitate towards no fucking drill. I'm more into the common Kanye style Chicago, more conscious melodic Chicago. Not fucking drill. Fuck about. I ain't listening to that shit. When it comes to New York music, I could have gravitated towards the puffy, the shiny suit era, the puffy Jay-Z. I got more holes in clothes. No. I gravitated towards Nas and Tribe Called Quest and X-Clan and Brand Nubian. That's what I gravitated to. I wasn't into Big Daddy Kane and the Flyboy rap. I wasn't into Biggie. And these niggas, East Coast things act like we the only ones doing gang. If we gangster rap, what the fuck was Biggie? What? Do y'all act like Biggie wasn't gangster rap? Now his gangster rap was a little bit zesty, talking about he suck your daddy's dick. You know, you New York niggas better answer for that. But y'all gravitated towards that shit. I didn't. I went towards Nas and Tribe. I listened to Tribe all damn day, every day, and twice on Sunday. You got Atlanta music. I didn't gravitate towards trap. I stuck with Killer Mike, Outkast. I stuck with the Outkast vibe. When that trap came, I was like, yeah, that's not my energy. Let me stick over here with Outkast. You know, I'm good. You have to take responsibility for what you gravitate towards. You got to own it. Because music is giving us all the flavors. What are you gravitating to? But as you see, Lord Jamar said he gravitated towards the game. When people from LA kind of see Game as a goofball. Like, nigga, you was on that TV show and you was a stripper. A lot of LA, not all of LA, but a lot of LA sees Game as a goofball. See, what Lord Jamar has realized is the reason why Kendrick is more LA than Game is because most of LA can relate towards Kendrick. Being born and raised in the hood, people you grew up with in the sandbox, going to gangs, sometimes because you hooping with your friends, getting caught up in gang shit. Not necessarily because you in one. We just at the park hooping, and we hear when it go down. That's part of the life of the native of South Central LA. And Kendrick, Good Kid, M.A.A.D City, represented that. Because another thing about LA culture is the gangs always respected the niggas who didn't bang. Like I said, nigga, I'm not one of these old fringe LA niggas that's from some old Pasadena, Inland Empire, suburban area. Nah, nigga, I'm from the area where the reputation of LA was earned, nigga. Right here in South Central. I saw this shit get burned down in the riots. But when I was a kid over here, there used to be a swimming pool right here. Where this dirt patch is. I don't know why they got rid of the pool. But this pool is right down the street from the jungles. Let's go to the jungles. Whoop. Y'all saw Training Day. See, with me, I used to walk through here. Coliseum. My elementary school was Coliseum Elementary. But you know why it was cool? You could be from South Central and not ever bang. You could be from South Central and not ever bang. Just know the difference between you and the bangers. Don't go around saying blood if you're not a blood. Don't go around saying cuz if you're not a crip. Mind your own business and do what you gotta do. I never got harassed. I walked, and as a matter of fact, it was always, what's up, Dewan? I was known as the fat nigga that could hoop and play basket, that could hoop and play the drums. Plenty of times. This is my elementary school. My elementary school got shot up 3 times between the 4th grade and the 6th grade. My school got shot up 3 times. And y'all go around and be like, oh, look at this neighborhood. It looks so pristine. Yeah. Did your school get shot up 3 times? Did you have PTSD by the age of 9? Because you saw somebody get shot right here in front of Dorsey High? First time I saw somebody get shot was right here. I told the story on here before. I told the story right here. I grew up down there. It was somebody, this gate wasn't here. It's somebody that got out in a brown van right here. And Dorsey was just getting out of school. Dorsey, by the way, put more players in the NFL than any other high school in the country up until about 10 years ago. But they were getting out of school, and I saw this man hop out of this brown van, and some girl was walking by, and I had to see her brains get blown out. While a New York nigga would be like, man, LA, it ain't that tough. Look at all the green grass. Okay, dumbass, go walk down that street and find out. Damn, hold up. They building an apartment. Hold up. They fucking my neighborhood up, yo. Y'all see this here? That's the house I remember when I was a kid. What the fuck? Now it's this? Yo. Y'all see this? This just surprised the fuck out of me. They fucking my city up. This how it looked when I was a kid. Damn. Anyway, fuck it. They fucking my neighborhood up, yo. Anyway, but back to what I'm saying. I grew up here on Chesapeake. We had to grow up around this shit. But the bangers respected us squares. And they didn't it was most of us in the city didn't bang, never had to bang. But we grew up seeing it and was always around it. So Kendrick writes music for us. So for your notes, brother Jamar, and people who think like you East Coast niggas, Kendrick speaks to us more than them gangsters do. The gangsters speak for a sub-segment of black society here. They don't speak for all of us. Just because you gravitate towards gangster shit don't mean the city do. Like I told you, Kamasi, Thundercat, Terrace Martin, Anderson .Paak. That's West Coast. Why when y'all talk about the West Coast, why don't you ever talk about Anderson .Paak? Rap and play the drums and sing. He's doing better numbers than anybody in hip hop. That's LA. LA pushed them to the top because we saw them growing up through Lamert Park and playing around town at church. I'm going to get to this last part he's saying, then I'm going to get to some of the comments. No, I have not been reading the comments. But I will read some comments. What you can do is go to DWANNB.com right now. The shop is still on sale through the remainder of the week because I had some website technical difficulties. The whole shop is still on sale now through the end of this week. That includes my courses being 35% off with the coupon code Black Friday. All right. Also, you can go to breakthroughcards.com right now. We still 25% off all readings now through the end of the week. I extended my Black Friday sale because of the website complications. But 35% off all readings with the coupon code Black Friday. All right. And also go to blisscapsules.com. Type in product code DWANNB. This is for that ooh-wee, ooh-wee, ooh-wee. This is the legal Amanita and Egyptian lotus. Good stuff for your mood. So let's go to this part right here. Oh, that's an old show. I was talking about Marlon Wayans. Ha! Let me put that. I got to put the screen up because I'm not about trying to get a copyright strike.
And Kendrick is just popular right now. You know what I mean? He's just popular right now. Yeah. So
that's what Lord Jamar said. Kendrick is just popular right now. Do y'all remember when Nipsey died? I remember how flabbergasted people on the East Coast were when Nipsey died. Because I remember LA, we made a really big deal out of Nipsey's death. Because it hit us hard. Nipsey meant a whole lot to this city. Nipsey meant a whole lot to the city. And people on the East Coast was like, I did not know. I remember Lord Jamar said it even back in the Vlad day when he was sitting on Vlad. I did not know Nipsey was that popular. Yeah. Very. Here. We got a very strong culture here in LA. And our love for Kendrick has nothing to do with they not like us. This shit go back to Black Hippie. This shit goes back to Section 80. And if you weren't owned by Section 80, you was for damn sure owned by Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. The love LA folks and the connection LA has to Kendrick is because of Good Kid, M.A.A.D City. Not whatever commercial success you guys heard from him from lately. You guys don't count. And that's what people from outside of LA don't understand. Y'all don't count when it comes to how we see things. We don't care if y'all not buying somebody's records. We don't give a fuck about anybody else's in the country's approval. That's why we didn't fall into doing trap music like New York did. That's why we didn't fall into doing drill. You had some people who touched on it, but overall West Coast didn't capitulate to no goddamn trap, no goddamn drill. And if y'all had some moral code about y'all, if gangster rap was so bad in LA, y'all wouldn't have capitulated it to it in New York. Sometimes it's about time people stand on their own 2 feet. Grab your nuts, nigga. Take some responsibility, other regions of the country. If gangster rap is so bad, you guys need to look in the goddamn mirror and ask yourself why the fuck you fell for it then. LA niggas ain't going around doing trap music because T.I. did it. Shit sound, we play trap music here all day. I know niggas who are in the screw out here. Niggas play screw music in LA. We play trap. But nigga, we ain't about to do that shit. The fuck? We got our own stuff. Nigga, we too busy doing hip hop, jazz, alternative, rock, pop. We too busy fiddling around with all the different various genres of music black people have created in this country over the last 400 years. LA is more focused on that than following along with your little regional sound. While at the same time, if you don't get our regional sound and you don't like it, we don't give a fuck. We just don't. Yeah. LA County really don't give a fuck about trap. So that's another thing I like when people be like, oh, LA and the gangster rap. Well, nigga, y'all went for it. And y'all be doing it. And look, that's the worst part about it on the East Coast, in the mid. All you niggas, you got niggas around the country that's still tripping over red and blue. Do y'all know that red and blue stopped in LA like in the 90s? Do y'all know that? Niggas wear red and wear blue, but by the time 98 to 99 came around, I was wearing blue in the jungles. I was wearing blue in Inglewood. I was wearing red in Watts. Because it became more about baseball caps and other stuff. LA moved different. That shit y'all learned on Men's Society, that's how it been done. And most of that shit was hella publicized. Miss Equinox said it's NYC, not the East Coast. I'll take that. I'll take that, Miss Equinox. I'll take that correction. I can be corrected. Because, yeah, generally, DC, I don't hear about niggas in DC really hating on nothing. I don't. Baltimore either. I don't never hear no niggas from Baltimore. I don't hear Baltimore niggas talk about anybody, really. And I love Philadelphia music. I think Philadelphia gets a short end of the stick over on the East Coast. But this is what people like Lord Jamar get. People got to understand. It's a reason why Kendrick said what he said on his song. When he said on Dodger Blue. It's a reason why Kendrick had this line here.
Bitch, I'm from the land. Don't say you hate LA when you don't travel past the 10.
I'm from the land. Don't say you hate LA matter of fact, I've been correct. I'm gonna modernize that. Don't say nothing about LA unless you spent significant time past the 10. And I ain't talking about just rolling with your homeboy one day that gave you a pass that day. If you ain't lived down here, if you ain't been amongst the people, if you haven't, you really don't know. You really don't know. So this is something that I want to point out about Southern California. We're diverse, and we reject the gangster label wholesale. And as a matter, and not to say that we innocent, nah. What happened was in the 90s, white society, white supremacy, gave the microphone to the gangsters. Appreciate that, Jamar, for the Cash App. Hit me on the Cash App, y'all. Let me know y'all fucks with what I'm talking about. $ DWANNB1. In the early 90s, you know, Death Row Records, they drowned out Ice Cube with Death Row. And you had all them niggas talking all that studio. That's another thing, Lord Jamar. Do you know that most of them Death Row niggas was studio gangsters? Niggas ain't wasn't no real fucking gangsters. They were doing what Kendrick did, talk about what they was seeing. Eazy-E was a real thing. To show you more so how diverse the black music sound is, the godfather of LA rap, Ice-T, by the time the 90s came, Ice-T wasn't the original person who wrote 99 Problems But a Bitch Ain't One. By the time the 90s came, Ice-T was doing heavy metal. Cop Killer. Y'all don't ever want to talk about the militant side of LA. Fuck the police. How to Survive in South Central was just a LA version of Biggie's 10 crack commandments. Y'all don't talk about how Ice-T went to heavy metal.
Ice-T.
You know what cops come and got?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, they took Cop Killer down. That's Ice-T. Ice-T, when the 90s came, we talking about some whole revolutionary shit. Why don't the rest of the country ever gravitate towards that? Why, when we burned LA down when the police was fucking with us, why didn't y'all copy that shit? New York, burn that motherfucker down if they ain't doing you right. Y'all copy everything. Y'all don't copy shit. Well, look, East New York niggas, Lord Jamar, all you New York niggas, if y'all want to copy some LA shit, copy LA Unity. Copy how when the LA riots happen, when the police fuck with us, all the hoods can sit their shit down to the side and go at them. Copy that side of us. Copy the side of LA that mounted up when we saw an outside attack from somebody like Drake. And then we went up to the Bay and said, y'all are brothers too, let's go. Why don't y'all copy our unity? They spending all this time criticizing Kendrick Lamar. Because he was saying that earlier in that interview, he's talking about, well, I thought at first he was a nerdy guy. Now he's a gangster. No, he was never a nerd nor a gangster. He was neither. He was a man that was navigating through his environment, doing the best he can do. Now that he has some power in his hand, he's using it to bring people together. Bring in some Mexican hoods with the black hoods. Because I hear a lot of you lame duck ass niggas in my comment section, man, LA got all the Mexicans they deal with. Well, it's treaties and good times between the gangsters and the black gangsters and the Mexican gangsters too in LA. It's a lot of treaties between the Latino gangs and the black gangs. It's a lot of Latino gangs that are drop dime on anybody Mexican that did something to a black person in LA. That's why LA niggas always get them motherfuckers back when they try it. But y'all never hear that fucking story because we keep that shit quiet. Well, not we. The gangster niggas keep that shit quiet. They not gonna, the real niggas out there on the street ain't going to Vlad and Adam 22 talking about this. Y'all get them Adam 22 and Vlad get them cornballs on paperwork talking. There's a whole nother thing going on out here politically. A whole nother thing. Why don't y'all imitate our unity? How we can be like, you know what? Nah, fuck that, nigga. We black. We from LA. We gonna come together. And we gonna at least attempt at unity. At least. And that's what, and this ain't the first time. That's what Banging on Wax was. Press the #1 chat if you remember Banging on Wax. Banging on Wax was 93. after 92. Niggas was really, the LAPD stopped that shit. LA has always tried to mount up. Going back to banging on wax. Nipsey, bringing people together. Look at Snoop. The reason why Snoop had an issue with Tupac was because Snoop wasn't willing to end his friendship with Biggie over his drama with Tupac. But I love Tupac. But Tupac is also somebody who wasn't from LA. I love Tupac, and we adopted Tupac because Tupac adopted us. But he was the one that was about that division shit. Snoop was like, look, man, I'm still, Biggie didn't do shit to me. That's an LA nigga. Why am I gonna get mad at him? I know y'all got an issue. That's LA. Snoop saying I still fucks with him. Why don't y'all copy that? Why don't y'all copy West Coast rappers using live musicians and jazz musicians to compose and produce the music? Why don't y'all copy that? It's a lot of shit people could learn from LA. But y'all want to sit back and criticize because we want to come together. What kind of shit is that? How y'all gonna criticize a man trying to bring people together and use them? There is no better thing to come together around than music. Music is supposed to unite. Music is supposed to bring people together. Wally Next Door says, I never realized how out of touch the East Coast was. They based a lot of their facts off Album 22. You right about that, Wally. I didn't realize how off base they were about us too. And again, I got nothing but love for Lord Jamar. Nothing but love for him. But for him, I like Lord Jamar's perspective on a lot of things. That's why it was so surprising his perspective was so off. Like, you're usually pretty perspective cat. How was you this off? We're not about that here in LA. We're not about that here in LA, Lord Jamar. LA really is a diverse place, a diverse landscape. That hip hop makes a segment of the music Black Americans create out here. Because that jazz that Kamasi is doing comes from the ghetto. That alternative rock, fusion, funk that Thundercat is doing comes out of the ghetto. The same ghettos that birthed Patrice Rushen, Barry White, Roy Ayers, The Whispers, War, Charles Mingus. This ghetto produces a lot of good music. And here in LA, we've held on to that tradition. So instead of capitulating the trap and drill, we expanded jazz. Because that's how we get down here. Yeah, Billy Higgins. You're right. He said, never seen a West Coast nigga in a shiny suit. You goddamn right. You ain't wearing no goddamn shiny suit. You don't even see repo. Do you see West Coast rappers wearing a lot of jewelry? Do you ever see Kendrick in jewelry? Nipsey, Ice Cube, Snoop. No, you can't walk around it. That shit get yanked. You don't walk around that flashy shit here in LA. You don't see niggas with big ass earrings looking like Mickey Mouse on the side of their head. Yeah. Wu-Tang, yeah. And we love Wu-Tang out here. We have to resist this separation talk. We got to resist that. Kendrick made it to the Super Bowl, and you see how much hate's come out of that? When just 5 funky ass years ago, hip hop was crying that it's not represented in the Super Bowl. How do you go from crying that you're not represented to crying like a bitch because somebody from a different coast than you live on made it? That's that jealousy, envy shit that gotta leave hip hop. I always say hip hop is the bastard child of black music. It's the hip hop is the offshoot of the blues that didn't earn its keep. It took and took and took samples, took stylings, took everything, acted like it's his own thing. Oh, look, I'm the first one to ever do it. No, nigga, you hip hop nigga, you just saw a goddamn Johnny Taylor album cover and redid what he did. Except for singing, you rapping. Niggas didn't bring nothing. Take samples. Take. Now that you niggas, now that hip hop is 50, and the forefathers of hip hop are up there, and this right here isn't necessarily just about, this isn't about Lord Jamar, this is about in general. Now that hip hop is old, niggas is all, I did this, we. No, nigga, y'all took. Now, if a black artist, now it took so much to where now you're looking at black artists as if only the hip hop art matters. Stop that. Sam Seals writes, California rappers merge together, not like that. Not that niggas and Scrabble got Bay and LA Sound. Yeah, LA has the sideshows now. Yeah. Kendrick is helping bring Cali together. Like, who wants to hate on that? Who wants to side play that and offshoot that? Well, we just doing what hip hop used to talk about in the early 90s. What you mad at? You're right. Jay-Z living in LA. Most of these niggas be living in LA. I be laughing my ass off, all these niggas that live in LA. I be out and about. It be a lot of people out here living in LA. They won't tell you. They got condos over there. They got these Beverly Hills adjacent condos. But that's the thing. We are going to have to learn how to. We're going to have to learn to come together. And this is what come together is. When we talk about coming together. Coming together is, in spite of our differences, let's at least make some money together. Kendrick just made a lot of rappers that somebody that featured, one or two of those rappers that featured on Kendrick's last album is going to make some big waves in music. And they're going to expand and grow. And that's going to come. That nigga said New York is Hispaniola. Y'all niggas are stupid in the chat. But like LA, it's a fusion. We synergize between our jazz musicians, our rock musicians. We all come together and make music together. And hopefully other parts of the country can learn that. Why don't New York niggas synergize with they jazz? Maybe y'all music could get more up and going again, New York, if y'all synergize with y'all jazz and R&B musicians. Philadelphia, synergize. Atlanta, synergize. DC, Baltimore, Memphis, synergize with your musicians. Synergize with your musicians. Don't let the jazz cats be over here and the hip hop cats be over there. That's how we gonna get past all this sampling bullshit anyway. It's new ideas to be had. It's new music to be made. We ain't gotta keep going back to 1976. If the musicians make music together and come together on their sounds, it'd have been dope if Lil Wayne could have done some shit with Tank and the Bangers out of New York. You know what I mean? You got the trap jazz scene going on down in Atlanta. It'd be great if Future put out some of that music, but put it out through the musicians and let the musicians play what's in his mind versus auto-tuning everything and quantizing everything, produce it, and produce produce Tank and the Bangers to play it. Produce the trap jazz niggas to play it. The neo niggas and the hip hop niggas in Seattle, in Philadelphia, Chicago. Y'all still got blues in Chicago. Chicago is one of the homes of the blues. Where y'all blues, y'all jazz musicians, and y'all rappers, why don't y'all merge and do some stuff? Dallas, Houston. Learn something from what we doing out here in the West. All right. Thank y'all for listening. I fucks with y'all. Yeah, there's a trap jazz in Atlanta. Atlanta got a cool little trap jazz scene going on. Them niggas need to check in with Metro Boomin and Future need to check in with them trap jazz niggas. And filter their ideas through the musicians and let the musicians give it some soul. Because Future ain't got no soul. It's just everything. Oh, God. Good music with no soul. If Metro Boomin and Future and the Atlanta producers linked up with their musicians and produced the musicians and allowed the musicians to make the music that you produce, you'll be on to something. You'll be on to some new sounds. At that point, music moves forward. But as long as you sampling and making all your music in the computer, you're going to stay stuck. All right? What's up, Brooke? What's up, Human? Space Rice, AO. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Music is a collaborative effort. Time for the musicians to come back together and stop making music in a fucking closet and get with some band members and make some real goddamn music instead of crying about LA and what we doing. Learn from LA and what we doing. Snoop made it possible for our jazz musicians to do what they doing because Snoop and Dre, Joseph Lindbergh is on that stuff. My man, I forgot to mention Joseph. Snoop and Dre helped make it possible. DJ Quick, by bringing them jazz musicians into the studio, play some music. Dre is major with our jazz scene. All of our jazz guys in LA, all of the guys you saw, they all done been to Dr. Dre's house and made music with him. We're going to need y'all top producers around the country to team up with your jazz musicians and blues musicians and make some real fucking music. All right? Appreciate that, Lori. Go to intellectualpower.net, go to blisscapsules.com, and go to DWANNB.com for all the good shit. Thank y'all again for listening. Remember, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. We out.